We are going to summarize the 2008 romantic drama film, The Reader. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon, so you never miss my future videos. Michael is found sick and feverish by a middle-aged woman named Hanna in the street who took him to her apartment to clean his vomit. After a while, she takes him to his house, where Michael's parents call a doctor for him to be checked. He has been diagnosed with scarlet fever, and the doctor advised him to rest and stay at home for at least 3 months. When Michael recovers, he tells his mother that a woman helped him when he got sick, and she also brought him home. His mother asks for her address, so she can thank her for helping her son. But Michael himself takes some flowers and goes to Hanna's home. Hanna asks him about his health. She has to go to work, so she asks Michael to wait outside so she can change. She tells Michael not to go because she will talk to him on the way. Michael walks out, but he sneaks from the outside and watches Hanna change her clothes. Suddenly Hanna looks towards the door and sees Michael. Michael runs away that day. After that, Michael follows Hanna every day and secretly watches her. But he did not have the courage to go and talk to her. Finally one day he goes to meet Hanna again. At that time, Hanna is not at home, so he hides and waits for her. When she returns from work, fetching coal from downstairs for the ring, she suddenly sees Michael. She tells him that there are 2 buckets lying down, fill them with coal and bring them up. When Michael comes up with the coal, his face and clothes are completely covered in black. Hanna laughs at him and says, "You can't go home in this condition, so take off your clothes and go and take a bath." When Michael goes to shower, Hanna brings him a towel and tells Michael to turn his face away so that she can dry him off. As he looks away, Hanna takes off her clothes and comes close to him. She says that this is what you wanted. That is why you have been following me for so many days. Michael tells her that she is very beautiful, and then the two are having sex. When Michael comes home, his father asks him, "Where you have been for so long?" He says, "I was lost on the way." His younger sister says, "You are lying. How can one get lost in his own town?" But his mother supports Michael and says that Michael is not lying. Michael tells his father that he wants to go to school tomorrow. Although the doctor has forbidden it, he feels that he has fully recovered now. His father says that if you want, it is fine to go to school, but be careful. He now skips school every day in the middle, to meet Hanna. And the two have sex. After a few days, Michael asks Hanna her name, to which she laughs and says that her name is Hanna. It turns out that Hanna is 35 years old and Michael is only 14 years old. One day Hanna asks him, "What are you studying in school?" Michael says that he reads literature in different languages. Hanna asks him to read a book from literature. She also tells him that after today, he will first read something from the book to her, and then they will have sex. Michael agrees with her and reads her from the book every day. Michael asks Hanna to read the book several times, but she says she likes hearing it from Michael. Then one day they both plan to go somewhere, but Michael doesn't have enough money. So he sells some stamps from his stamp collection so that he can take Hanna for a ride. They both go to the countryside on bicycles. They both have a lot of fun. Michael seems to be falling in love with Hanna. They both go to a cafe. When they both look at the menu, Michael asks Hanna to order something from the menu, but she puts the menu aside and says that she will eat whatever he orders. In this scene, we have a little doubt. It turns out that maybe Hanna can't read and write because she looks at the menu in a very strange way. On the other hand, when both of them start to eat, Michael goes to the waitress to pay the bill. The waitress thinks that maybe Hanna is Michael's mother. Michael kisses Hanna in front of the waitress to prove her wrong. Then they both go to a church where Hanna gets very emotional after hearing the chorus. Hanna seems to be a passionate girl. Then they both go to a spring where Hanna take bath while Michael sits on the bank and writes a poem for Hanna. Unfortunately, he doesn't read it to her. The movie comes back to the present time when Michael is reading the same poem. He is a very famous lawyer and goes to court every day and handles some of the famous cases. But he remembers Hanna. The film again goes back in time when Michael remembers his school days. There is a girl at his school who likes Michael a lot. But Michael leaves all these girls and goes only to Hanna. Then one day Hanna gets promoted and given office duty. But for some reason, she is not happy. It seems that she is under some stress. She gets frustrated and gets angry with Michael as well. Michael convinces her and they both have sex for probably the last time. Here comes a twist in the story. Hanna suddenly disappears without telling anyone. When Michael goes to her house is empty. He searches for her a lot but she is nowhere to be found. Michael is heartbroken and starts going back to school. Then the scene changes and we see Michael studying at a law school. 8 years have passed since Hanna disappeared. One day, all the students are taken to the court to watch a case trial. The case revolves around women accused of leaving 300 Jewish women to die in a burning church. In 1944, the German government took the Jews in Germany for forced labor and then imprisoned them in concentration camps where they were tortured. Hanna and the other women were guards in those camps. Michael is very surprised and sad to see Hanna. Because he was slowly forgetting everything, but seeing Hanna today, all the memories came back. The main witness, in this case, is a young Jewish girl, Luna Mather, who wrote a memoir about herself and her mother. She and her mother managed to get out of those prison camps alive. She recognizes Hanna and the rest of her companions and says that Hanna used to randomly select girls from among the female prisoners who read the book to her. Admittedly, they would randomly select 10 girls who would later be killed to make room for new inmates. Hanna also admits that she always selected the weakest girls, who would use to read to her and then later kill them too. Hanna also tells the court that the death of 300 people in the church was not an accident but it has been presented as an accident. She says that she did not write the report of the accident which was presented in the court. Rather, someone else copied her signature. But Hanna's fellow women turn against her and give statements against her. They tell the whole court that Hanna was in charge that night and she deliberately did not open the gate of the church. No one escaped and a false report of the incident was written by Hanna. The court asks Hanna to write something on a piece of paper to match her handwriting to the report. But Hanna refuses and suddenly admits all the charges. Michael then realizes that Hanna is actually uneducated, but she hides this from everyone. This was the reason that she neither read the book herself nor did she order in the cafe that day because she could not read nor write. And she did not want Michael to know this either. We saw that when she got an office job, she realized that now everyone will know that he is uneducated, so she left that job. Michael tells his professor the whole story that all these women are trying to trap Hanna and asks his professor for help, but he says that there is nothing we can do because Hanna has already accepted everything. That is why if she herself tells the court that she is uneducated, she can be saved. Michael thinks that he will convince Hanna to tell the truth, so he goes to the prison to meet her. But then he thinks about something and goes back without meeting her. He could have saved Hanna if he wanted to, but he wants to take revenge on Hanna, and he too now wants to punish her for the pain that Hanna gave him. In addition, he also considers Hanna to be somewhat responsible for the death of those 300 women. At the next hearing, the court sentences Hanna to life imprisonment and the rest of the women to 4 years and 3 months. After that, Michael gets busy in his life, first studying and then marriage. He forgets all this. He also has a daughter. But his heart cannot love his wife because he still loves Hanna. And this is the reason why his wife divorces him. And because of this, he also gets away from his daughter. One day he visits his mother's home where he finds the same old books he used to read to Hanna. He reads them and records them in his own voice. He then sends those records to Hanna in prison. After listening to those books and taking some books from the prison library, Hanna starts writing and reading by herself, and then within a few days, she starts writing letters to Michael. But Michael does not respond to her letters. 20 years have passed and she is finally going to be released. The prison warden calls Michael to help in settling Hanna out. Since Hanna has no one outside, the prison authorities have to call Michael. Michael finds a house and a job for Hanna. But before she is released from prison, Michael goes to meet her in prison. She tells him that before she went to court, she didn't even think about those women and now she doesn't think about anything else but them. She says that she is very ashamed of what she did and has been complaining a lot. On the day she is released from prison, she commits suicide, and when Michael goes to pick her up, the prison warden tells him about Hanna's death. Hanna leaves a letter and a tin can for Michael. There is some money in that tin box. This money was Hanna's life savings. Her last wish is that this money will be given to one of the children of those Jewish women. That's why Michael goes to New York to meet Elena. He tells her about his and Hanna's old relationship, which he has not told anyone till now. He also tells her about Hanna's illiteracy. Elena refuses to take the money and Michael tells her that he will donate the money to a Jewish organization that helps children with education. Elena likes the idea and just keeps the tin can. Because she had a similar tin box with her which was taken from her in that camp. Then the scene changes and Michael meets his daughter in the present day, which is 1995. She has just returned from Paris and is now about 21 years old. Michael takes Julia to the same church where he and Hanna came on a bicycle 40 years ago. Now there is Hanna's grave, to which he tells Julia about his and Hanna's old relationship. And with that, the movie ends. The movie gives us a lesson about the importance of acknowledging and taking responsibility for one's actions. The power of love and the ability to forgive and understand each other despite the atrocities of the past. Also, it explores the idea that people are not always who they seem to be, and that everyone has hidden depths and pasts that they must come to terms with. Thanks for watching.